Hey guys, it's Tracy. I am back today with the finishing touches for my Scarecrow. Now, I shared how I painted this, how I hand lettered the Happy Harvest, and all of that good stuff in this video here. It was in a collaboration that I did with my sweet friend Linda from FaithChick777. And so how I made that, I will include that video so that you can see how I actually hand painted and made the cute little face. In this video, it's kind of like a, connection part 2. I am going to be making a little fence and also painted the rugged signs, show you how I put everything together and how I embellished the top of the little fence with pip berries and grapevine. All right, guys, I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. The boards I'm using are from a woodpile pack from Hobby Lobby, my favorite store. The color of paint I'm going to be painting those is buttermilk. And so I just give it a coat of that. Then once that's dry, then I'm going to be doing some shading. As you hear me say all of the time, the beauty is in the details, and I love to shade my projects. I'm using the number 12 flat paintbrush out of my favorite pack of paintbrushes. I will leave the chart right here. Also, you can find my paintbrush chart as well as a link to my favorite paintbrushes in my link tree that is located in the description box. All right, so once I get finished shading all of that, I'm going to be using this brown color. It is burlap. That is the color that I'm going to be using to make a faux plaid pattern with my fan brush. This is my favorite way to make a plaid pattern, just by using a few bristles of my fan brush, just going back and forth just to make a plaid pattern. Now I'm going to let these boards completely dry before I do my doodling, only because then it won't, it'll like be faded. It won't, the black Sharpie marker will not show up if the paint is wet. And but before I do that, I want to add some shading on my plaid pattern just to bring it out a little bit more. And so here is when I'm adding the ultra fine Sharpie marker. I've been getting some questions about Sharpies. I like to use the Sharpie brand. That is my favorite marker to use. I have found that it does not smudge and it does work really good. And so once I get finished with that, then it's ready to do my hand lettering. Now here I'm like air drawing just to make sure that I have enough space for my letters. And what I'm using is the number 2 flat paintbrush out of my favorite paint pack. Just sharing because I do get questions about that. So just sharing which paintbrushes I use. I'm just using some black paint, and then I will start hand lettering. It's fall on the one board and then y'all on the other one. And so I just want to encourage anyone that wants to learn how to hand letter practice. I do have some free hand, fonts that I have collected. They're in my link tree, a download. You can actually look for them on my blog, download them off of dafont.com. Practice makes perfect. That's how I've learned how to do this. God has given me the patience and also the want to kind of hand letter like this. So I'm so happy you're here and that I can share all of this with you, my sweet friends. So to give a little color around the letters, I'm just using a very thin round paintbrush that I had in my stash, and just using some barn red paint. It's a Delta Ceramic Coat, I think is the brand. And so just going around just to give a little bit of color. Then just to make my letters pop, I just take a liner brush and just go in and make a little comma in each of the happy dots just to make them pop. For my paint splatters, I'm actually using some of that barn red, maroon, or dark red paint, and then some white, using my favorite technique of a stiff brush and a stick. All right, so this is how I created the fence. I'm just using these giant craft sticks that I got from Walmart. And what I did is I cut off one end into a point, and then on the bottom I cut those off. Now once I get into it a little bit more, once I realize that I'm going to want them a little bit longer, what I do is I took a few more and made them a little bit longer, but I'll show you that once I get to that part in the video. To give my fence pickets a stained look, I'm using my antique wax from Waverly, so that is from Walmart. I'm just using a baby wipe and just going across them just to give it the stained look. Now that was not what I was looking for, so I took my stencil brush and just took some white paint and kind of doing a dry brushing effect. And so then once I had, kind of had everything laid out, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to want those a little bit longer. So I grabbed a few more of those sticks. Honestly, I probably would have used some paint sticks if I would have, would redo this, but I had already put too much time and work and effort into these craft sticks, so I just went with it. So I took 3 more of those sticks and just did the same thing, cut off the ends, and then stained them with the antique wax. Then now I'm cutting them in half, and I also added the white dry brushing. And so then now I'm cutting them in half because I'm going to be using a part of these for the bottom. So I'm using the part of the that one that says y'all. I'm just going to be gluing all of that together, and I put 2 more craft sticks on the back so that I would make sure that everything was nice and secure and that it would not fall apart. So then once I laid everything out, I realized that I needed to cut them a little bit shorter, so I'm just using my little scissors right here. Those are Tim Holtz. You can get those at like Hobby Lobby or on Amazon or something like that, but those are one of my favorite scissors for little projects like this. So I'm just laying everything out just to make sure that everything is the way that I want. And so then I use a combination of E6000 as well as hot glue just to glue everything down. I make sure that I keep everything clamped for a little bit so that it has time to dry and that it will not fall apart. All right, so then now I'm going to show you what I did to give a little bit more cuteness to my little scarecrow. I have these very thin clear rubber bands that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I found them, I think, in the hair accessories section. I use these in my craft room all of the time, and so I'm just giving her some little pigtails. I have some homespun fabric that I just ripped off a piece of that, and then that is what I'm going to be tying around the little pigtails to give her a bow. for extra stability, I used my electric staple gun, and just put a few staples in the back just to make sure that everything was nice and secure. And so then here is what I did for the grapevine. I had one of these mini grapevine wreaths that you can get at the craft store. I just took it apart, and then I just unraveled it and just put it around the top of the fence. I added a few pip berries at the top, and it just turned out so cute. Now guys, I am putting this on a fall wreath, but this would look so cute just to make just like this if you wanted to have a scarecrow and a fence idea just for a door hanger. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining me today. I appreciate all of your kind comments, your support of all of my craftiness. We'll see you in the next video. Y'all take care and God bless.